Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading video. So there are 3 stacks here like usual, and in each stack there are 6 tarot cards and 2 oracle cards. One of the oracle cards is from the Power Animal Oracle card deck, and the other one is from the, I have the little book thing here, Mystic Martian Oracle deck. So here is stack 1A. Stack 2B, Stack 3C. You can take some more time if you need and pause the video, but this again is a video that's all centered around the message that your higher self has for you. Messages, but main message. And if you don't feel drawn to any of the cards, that is completely okay. This just might not be the video for you. I have plenty of other timeless pick a card reading videos located all throughout my YouTube channel. And also, as a reminder, everything that I say and talk about in this video is for entertainment purposes only and cannot be stated as fact. Alright, let's get into the video. Hello 1A and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So immediately, it's really weird. This is how it was for all the cards, all the stacks. But really, as soon as I pulled the first card, and then especially the second card, I already knew what the vibe would be for the reading. So it's a cool pattern too. I wanted to point out there's a cool, almost like a pyramid kind of arrow pattern shown here, where the Magician and the 5 of Wands are upright, and then the middle cards and then the bottom 2 outside cards are in reverse. And yeah, I just think that's really cool. I have not read the definitions in the guidebook for the oracle cards, but I think it's really funny that I pulled Buffalo Abundance, because I never have pulled that card, and I was pulling from that deck only a day or 2 ago. And from the time of filming this, and I was telling my mom as I was going through the guidebook, because I pulled a card for me and a card for her, and I stumbled upon the buffalo in the guidebook, and I'm like, I don't think ever pulled this card, and then now I did, and it's for you, so congratulations. But let's just get into the reading. I want to say, I don't know how much I'll be able to say, because the main theme of the reading, the main message is that a lot of you want, especially financial security, and you want some sort of abundance of some kind. That could be abundance of, I think for some of you, especially material things. So that can include money, of course, but that also includes, like I was picturing a Louis Vuitton bag, so things that are designer. So money and just goods that you can buy, and especially things that are maybe luxurious or expensive. There's a vibe that you will or already want these things and crave these things. Some of you maybe grew up still in okay circumstances. Like maybe you grew up in a pretty average middle to high income household. Even if that's the case, I get a sense that you want more than what your parents or your family had. And if, of course, you grew up in low to middle income households, then of course you would want more than what you had when you were younger, probably. But the Magician, for those of you who know about the Magician, as you see here, it says 1, and then below that the Fool is 0, and that's like in reverse. It's like they're mirroring each other too, which actually I'll get in. Well, I want to say, with that being mirrored with the Fool being reversed, that also indicates to me that a lot of you probably didn't have as much as you would have wanted growing up. And so you want, or else you're in a period now where that's the case, even if you had more growing up. And so the Fool is about new beginnings, but it's in reverse. It's also about kind of, I always say this word wrong. I'm just going to say being naive, naivete, right? It can also be about being naive. When it's in reverse, it's especially about kind of being innocent in the way we think, and I think of it being overly hopeful and overly optimistic, and so that mirrors the Magician. Anyway, so some of you, I think, are either manifesting or are just having wishful thinking around being able to again, have more than you did when you were younger, or to have more than you have now. Even if for some reason you have a lot now, there's a sense, I think that's not necessarily the case. I think, of course, we can be grateful for all that we have now, but I think a lot of you probably do not have as much as other people may be around you. So there's this sense that you want more. And with this, the Magician and then the Fool in reverse mirroring the Magician, so card 1 and 0 on the tarot deck, there's a sense that you're, I guess I could say lazy, because with the Fool in reverse too, it can be about laziness. Some people talk about the set it and forget it method in manifesting, and if you just want to call it wishful thinking, working hard, whatever it is. But that's the thing, the working hard piece is crucial and it's key. And I want to talk about the Temperance in reverse too. I think a lot of you have been really antsy and you haven't been patient. And I think the more we how do I want to put this? The more we believe that things aren't coming to us fast enough, sometimes spirit, your guides, your higher self can talk to you about how you need to be patient in order to be able to receive abundance in any way. And that includes money. That includes really opportunities. It includes anything. So Spirit is saying that you're not being patient enough, and or you're trying to speed up the process and maybe cutting corners in a way. And also with I want to talk about the laziness piece again, because I think some of you maybe will be like, okay, well, this will happen for me and that's it. And then you won't work hard enough for what you want to achieve. Part of manifesting or part of attracting abundance to you, a big part of that I think sometimes people forget is that you have to still put in the hard work. You hear about stories about, like, I think about Bella Porch whenever I think of this, because she said before she got famous and blew up on TikTok, she just wrote like 1 million on her whiteboard, and then literally the next day she made a TikTok and she completely blew up from then. Some people are that lucky, and especially if you look at your astrology chart, some people are just lucky in that way. And that isn't to say that Bella Porch doesn't work hard, obviously, but it was, I don't know if that was the first TikTok she ever posted, but, she posted that TikTok, and then from that, as an example, she worked hard after that, continued to capitalize on that, and she made a career off of that one TikTok, and it sprawled out into multiple different opportunities for her, because she continued to work at it. She didn't just say, okay, well, I got 1 million views, I'm not going to do anything with this. You hear that all the time, especially in social media nowadays, where people can or cannot capitalize on their fame. Whether it's because people just aren't drawn to that social media personality anymore, or if they do grow, it's because they put in the hard work and they connect with their audience. Like, these are just examples. So I think, though, for a lot of you, and I want to talk about the Wheel of Fortune reverse too, that again makes me think about how maybe some of you have not only lacked resources or haven't been as abundant as you would like to be, but it also tells me that you've probably been down and out on your luck. With the Wheel of Fortune, though, with it being in reverse, I also like to remind you that it's about endings, but with endings comes beginnings. A circle continues to go on and on and on and on. A circle or infinity, they keep going and going and going. And a circle basically is infinite. It doesn't ever go astray. It continues to go in that circle. And with the Wheel of Fortune being in reverse, it's right now I'm actually picturing like a light switch, but I'm hearing the word like click. I think something will click for a lot of you coming up very shortly for you to understand what it is that you need to do moving forward. Because, again, work hard. If you're being lazy, make sure you put in the hard work. And sometimes that means putting in hard work. Like, for example, I don't think Spirit is saying you necessarily have to work overtime a lot, or maybe you can work overtime. I was getting a sense of, for some of you who are thinking about picking up a second job, I'm not getting a sense that you should do that, if that makes sense. So maybe, again, that could include working overtime at your job, or doing stuff on the side, but it's not really part-time. Like, I always talk about side gig stuff can be important, so, like a side business. And before I forget, I really want to talk about the 5 of Wands upright. as well as the King of Swords in reverse. So for these two, it can talk about, and it's really cool how I feel like the top cards and the bottom cards are really mirroring each other, which usually I don't really think about it in that way, but I feel like they really are mirroring each other. And with the Five of Wands upright and the King of Swords in reverse, some of you, if you're manifesting or if you're putting in this hard work, I feel like the energy is being misdirected or misguided. So for some of you, you're not putting your intentions very clearly. So that's why I always am a proponent of, like, at the end of the year, before the upcoming year, I make a vision board. I've been doing that for some years now. And that's really important, and especially putting it somewhere where you can see it. Some of you maybe will manifest and then, the set it and forget it method, and then either not put in enough work and or you forget what it is that motivated you to have this manifestation in the first place. So for you all, manifesting abundance, and that can include experiences, opportunities, again, think about how it best fits into you, into your life. But some of you are just not being as clear in your intentions, and some of you are just not maybe doing it properly. Like, make sure you're being very direct when you're talking with spirit. Some of you maybe are just like, well, maybe I want this, maybe I want that. And maybe your mindset changes often. So I'm always a proponent, I talk about this quite a bit, but writing down pros and cons or writing down a list, automatic writing would be very important. I get a sense that writing down your feelings and journaling could also be very helpful. And writing down what it is that you want, but specifically figuring out the why. So why do I want this, and how would it be beneficial to me? And sometimes in these readings I talk about how things could be beneficial for other people as well. So if you receive abundance, other people in your life could receive abundance. But I'm not really even getting a sense of that. I'm feeling like you should focus on yourself for right now, what can best add to your life. But I would just say, what was I saying with what I was saying? What was I saying with what I was saying? So be clear. And that, I think a lot of you need to write down why it is that you want this certain thing to happen. And also, too, I think sometimes spirit or your higher self wants you to be very specific. And sometimes they want you to be more open-minded in terms of a timeline or a date. In this instance, I think you all should be a lot more, not to go with the flow with it, just like, oh yeah, whatever happens. Of course, be open to whatever happens that could positively come along. But a lot of you need to focus on specifics as well. Being open, but being specific. Like, this is when I want for this to happen. I want for this milestone to happen at this point in time. A good example, of course, for many people is getting a raise. So it could be like, at this point in time, I want to get this amount of money in a raise. So be specific is what I'm hearing. That's where some of you maybe are getting led astray. Also, I think some of you are so focused on the future. This is a really big part I want to talk about. Some of you are so focused on the future that you're not focused on the present. And Spirit really hates when people do that. When you're even if you're too focused on the past as well, but there's a really big sense that a lot of you are too focused on the future and things happening super quickly. And that will make Spirit want to push and put the brakes on so that you can focus on the here and now, because you have to focus on the here and now to get you to the future, right? There's no future without the here and now, without your past as well, but the here and now is where you need to focus your energy on. And I think if you don't focus too much on the future, again, have your goals in mind or manifestations, things you want to have happen, your lists, have them in mind, write them. That's why I really recommend writing them out, putting visuals up, have them in mind somewhere. You can always refer back to them and look at them and change and alter them, okay? But focus on the now and how to get there. Your subconscious and unconscious, your aura, your higher self, already know how to direct you to where you need to go. So you just need to focus right now. I feel like I really need to put a lot of emphasis on that. You'll be a lot less scatterbrained too, I think, and also a lot less anxious about the future happening when you just stop focusing on the future. And again, be specific, but don't be unrealistic in your timeline. Some of you are like, oh yeah, literally tomorrow is when this will happen, and it would literally be impossible. You have to be very realistic as well, is what Spirit wants to say. And that's with the Fool in reverse too. Some of you are just being very unrealistic in the standards you're trying to set for yourself and the things you're trying to accomplish or the things that you're trying to have come your way. And again, the Magician is upright, so you're able to tap into your potential and into these great things happening for you, even material things, right? Oh, that's also something I want to say. I think some of you, Spirit really wants you to be less materialistic, focus less on the materialistic, be more not only realistic, but focus on, I almost want to say minimalism, where don't be completely maximalistic because you don't need to be like that. I think some of you maybe are like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, I want all of these things, but Spirit wants you to tone it back a bit. So some of you are maybe manifesting too much at once. Some of you are maybe chasing after dreams too much at the same time. Maybe spend bits and pieces here and there on every single one, or focus on 1, 2, 3, or however many things at a time. Really hone in your energy so that you can focus on those things. Okay. Is there anything else I want to say? I feel like, is there anything else? I was going to say something, until I got interrupted with my own intuitive thoughts, but I was going to say something. Yeah, so I would, again, big emphasis on worrying less if you focus less on the future. Oh yeah, but with the Fool in reverse and the Wheel of Fortune reverse, sometimes too that can mean, that you'll put an end to your bad habits. So that can include obsessive habits. That can also include, I wanted to bring up spending habits. I think some of you, if you start some of you don't realize the abundance you're receiving because you expel that money or expend that money, I guess I should say, right away. You don't save. If Spirit knows that you're being good with your money, then they will allow more money to flow through for you. I wanted to talk about these cards. So it will be listed on the screen, which you can see, but I will read as well what it says in the guidebooks. So Buffalo, abundance, you are provided for in all ways. You need never go hungry. You will always have plenty of physical and emotional sustenance, and, just as important, spiritual nourishment. To sustain this state of abundance, it's important to remain appreciative of all that you do have and consistently express your gratitude to Great Spirit as the true source of your supplies. Have faith in this fact rather than getting caught up in beliefs in lack and limitation. That's part of it too. Don't think that you don't deserve things or that things won't happen for you just because it hasn't happened yet. In fact, you will always have more than enough, so give away any surplus willingly and enthusiastically. Whenever you do give something away, do so out of love from your heart rather than a sense of martyrdom or to gain others' approval. Nature gives unabashedly and generously unto life and unto death. Let that part of your nature be the fount from which your giving generates. In this way, you will experience a deep satisfaction and heartfelt sense of connectedness to others in your family and community, and quite naturally feel immensely grateful for all that life gives to you. Additional associations are generosity, gratitude, surrender, and sacrifice. Yeah, there's a lot. Surrender and sacrifice, but especially surrender is a really good word for you all, where it's like not worrying too much about the outcome, but also being clear in your intentions. And then we have 8. I don't think I've ever pulled this card before. And it is evens. And it is upright, so I will read the upright card meaning. I won't read the other side, just because if you want, you can read it, but it doesn't really pertain to the overall message. But the card meaning in the upright is mystery, unknown, reading between the lines, discernment, intuition, hunch, healthy skepticism, infant, something is in its infancy stage, discriminating data, and questioning. And I think the infancy stage too makes sense with the Fool, even though it's in reverse. So maybe you all are on, like, a good example of starting a new job. You might be in the infancy stage of that, so maybe going into this new job, if that relates to you, or if you're thinking of switching jobs, the next job would be something that's maybe new for you. But don't be overly optimistic. Remember that, for example, it's still a job. You still have to get work done, and you can't just be lazy. And I just feel like if you trust your intuition more, you'll know how to tap into your abundance and what you should do instead of being worried so much and focus on the future. So focusing on the now, tapping into your intuition, asking your higher self and spirit what can I do? And with that mystery and unknown too, I think part of it is that Spirit wants it to be kind of a mystery. Some of you maybe are hyper vigilant, and so Spirit wants you to, again, be specific, but then go with the flow after you set your intentions. And I think that mysteries will be revealed, and you'll understand more about what to do when you just listen to your inner guidance. So if I were to say what the overall message of this reading is from your higher self is saying that, I feel like your higher self really wants to say that they understand why you are trying to bring in this certain abundance, or why you may be worried at this moment in time, or hypervigilant, especially if it relates to childhood. But Spirit and your higher self want you to be more patient, and they want you to continue being kind to yourself, even if things don't happen the way you want. But again, be very specific in your intentions. Be very specific and clear and patient. And make sure that you're also not being too superficial in what you want to have happen moving forward. So thank you so much, 1A, for watching and listening to this video. If you liked it, you can head over to the like section and you can give it a like on the video. You can comment down below if you resonated with this stack, and you can comment again in the future if you took any of my advice, listened to my advice. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like, and I also have plenty of other pick a card readings on this on this channel that are timeless that you can look over as well. Also, I'll throw it in there, a lot of people in the spiritual community are into ASMR, and I do have an ASMR channel, so that is doing well. If you want to check that out, it is Brittney's ASMR, and it's also in the description. But thank you so much, and take care. Hello, 2B, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So I just gotta say it. As soon as I was starting to pull these cards, and then as I continued to pull the cards, I just kept hearing that the people who chose this, you all do not really love yourself enough. You don't show care for yourself enough. You probably don't view yourself as very beautiful or worthy or desirable. I wonder if some of you who chose this stack recently got out of a relationship or a really bad friendship breakup you're going through. Because it just feels like that's the vibe I'm getting. Like somebody's mourning the loss of a friendship or a relationship. It could also be mourning the loss of a loved one, like somebody who actually did pass away, and that includes pets as well. But the main thing I was hearing is that you don't really love yourself, show care for yourself, don't view yourself as like a valuable person. I was feeling really sad when I was pulling the cards in this. Oh, by the way, for the oracle cards, I'll get to those later and I'll read in the guidebook. But let's see. So we have the Knight of Swords in reverse, but we also have the Page of Swords upright. So that tells me that you don't really talk to yourself very kindly. But with the Page of Swords being upright, I think, oh, now my cat's sniffing the microphone. Do you hear that, everybody? Hi. There's a sense that you don't talk very kindly to yourself, and I wonder if there's different meanings this could have. With the Page of Swords being upright, though, I think your higher self is saying you have the ability to talk more kindly to yourself if you just allow yourself to be in that sort of headspace more. I think some of you maybe self-sabotage and also purposefully, like maybe you feel like you should feel sad for however long or for forever, that you should feel sad or that you should not show care and kindness to yourself for whatever reason, whether that is because of how other people have treated you in your life, or maybe the culture or religion that you have grown up in or maybe are in right now. There's a sense that almost like pride, but not quite pride, but I want to say almost like pride, where you take pride in the way you talk to yourself, where it's like you shame yourself. There's a lot of shaming that I feel going on where it's like, okay, well, I don't need to show love to myself. it kind of reminds me of boomer energy, no offense, where it's like, well, back in the day, I wonder if some of you think like this too, where it's like back in the day, like in the 1800s and way before that, people survived on much less, so I can just deal with it. I wonder if some of you really grew up with bad paternal figures in your life, paternal or father figures or older brothers, or you grew up with a lot of just men around you. No offense to the men out there. Shout out. But and then here too, the MIB card, Men in Black, so men. Anyway, there's a sense that probably there's been a lot of toxicity in an environment that for some of you too, I wonder if it's an environment that you work in. So a good example is if you are a woman in a very male-dominated space, such as, I mean, I don't know. I know there's still people out there who think women shouldn't be doctors or nurses and all that. So I'll just say like a surgeon. So let's say that you're a surgeon and you go, that would be cool if a surgeon was listening to this. Anyway, if you were, for example, a surgeon and you were going to go to surgery on somebody, but the patient said they only would trust a male doctor, even if they were a woman themselves. Like, that's just an example. I feel like there's a lot of toxic masculinity and patriarchal thinking that you are either in your work or that you grew up in, like including in your family system. And I think a lot of that can really place a lot of shame on us for if we have emotions or feelings. So you may be like, well, I don't really need to show care and love for myself. And it's just like a lot of suppressing your feelings is what I'm sensing. And I do have to talk about this Empress in reverse. Whether you're a woman, a man, or you are non-binary, I feel that a lot of you have encountered negative body standards. I wonder if some of you maybe have like body dysmorphia, where it feels like you just don't feel like you are pretty enough, or that you fit into society's standards, beauty standards, and you don't feel you fit into the mold, and so you get really down on yourself for it. I wonder if some of you maybe over-exercise or do the opposite where you overeat, or, go back and forth. That's very common for people to do, where you just don't feel like no matter what you do, that you fit into these ideal beauty standards, even if it's something that genetically you cannot change about yourself. Like, for example, on my mom's side of the family, literally genetically, even through genetic testing, it shows that side of the family has passed down to me the likelihood of having bigger calves than other women or people who produce more estrogen, right? And that was always really weird, because growing up, I felt like even in proportion to my body when I was, really young and I was like really skinny, not on purpose, just I felt like my calves were always bigger proportionally. So some of you maybe struggle with body image issues and feeling like your body is good enough to like walk around in society, which is really sad. Please, I would say work on that. Try and find some ways to incorporate either body positivity, body neutrality, or even a combination of both. Have the Knights upright and the Three of Pentacles upright, and they are next to each other, which tells me what I've basically already been saying in this reading, where I think you're very easily influenced by what other people say to you or from what you read online. I think probably some of you have been maybe traumatized by the things people have said about you, whether true or untrue, gossip about you now or in the past. And so maybe you're very hypervigilant about how you present yourself and how other people view you, because you don't want to have people have a negative opinion of you, or you don't want to let people down. I think too, some of you probably are very hard workers, and probably to the point of burnout or exhaustion. You maybe feel like you need to prove yourself and prove that you're worthy, even if you don't view yourself as worthy. You want other people to view you as worthy, and so you get your self-worth through these other people, through external validation instead of internal validation. So then when it comes to you being by yourself at the end of the day or whenever, when you have alone time, maybe you always have these negative thoughts that you're not doing enough, that you're not again, that you're not pretty enough, that you're just not enough in whatever area of your life, that you yourself are not enough, or that you are not offering enough, or that you're not doing enough for others, that you're not a good person. I think a lot of you question the validity of your personhood, where you don't know if you are a good person, or you don't know if you just do enough of whatever it is. And the Three of Pentacles, I want to bring up, that gossip, where some of you, maybe when you were in school, there's been rumors spread about you, whether, again, maybe just at the workplace, and it really, again, whether true or untrue, it really had a negative impact on you, and so you just want people, if they talk about you, to say nice things about you. And I wonder if you think about other people having commentary about you often, even people who are strangers. If you're walking just at the mall, I wonder if you think, I wonder what that person's thinking of me, or if you're at the store and you have to return something and maybe you'll think, I wonder if this person thinks I'm a bad person because I'm returning this, or if they think I'm trying to like scam them or whatever. I just think you need to, how should I word this? Find a way to calm those thoughts. This is honestly kind of similar to, well, not similar, but it reminds me of card or stack 1A in a way, because I just think there's got to be a way in which you settle down your thoughts more and view things from your own perspective instead of trying to view yourself from the perspective of others. I wonder too if some of you have these certain standards that you place on yourself because of a maternal or mother figure in your life as well. I think earlier I talked about a paternal father figure, but the Empress in reverse can also indicate a negatively influencing mother or maternal figure. But I also want to talk about how you might be more combative now as well. You might be more combative with other people, more willing to pick fights or arguments, or you very easily get triggered or set off, and so that can get you very angry very easily. I wouldn't be surprised if, with peace and love, some of you might have anger issues, or even issues with starting fights and then leaving right away when the other person tries to bring up a good argument, a good talking point. I think a lot of you maybe just try to speak your piece instead of allowing the other person to really say what they need to say. And I think, again, a lot of this reading is giving me the vibe of you being on autopilot. And so we just need to find a way for you to ground yourself better. And with the Page of Cups in reverse too, I want to say that some of you, that ties in with what I was saying, where you can get very heated, very passionate, and very just emotional in general, and that can make it very hard. I think a lot of you struggle with just emotional regulation in general. Maybe one second you're really happy and the next second you're crying. Maybe there's a reason behind that and maybe there isn't. I think if there are reasons behind you getting upset, I think it can trigger extreme reactions or overreactions very quickly. And so I feel like there's something else I wanted to say about something else. Okay, let me finish with what I was saying. So with this, we need to find a way for you to not only ground yourself, but there's something that's helped me before, where it's before speaking, just don't speak for 10 seconds, and usually that calms you down. It can maybe get you to think more rationally. Try to be like, okay, why am I feeling this way? Is it rational for me to feel this way? Is it valid for me to feel this way? But I feel like with me saying that, I have to be careful because I don't want you to go into completely invalidating yourself, because I think you also, people who chose this stack, would do that as well, and it can be maybe a flip-flop, a back and forth of those sentiments. With the Three of Pentacles upright, though, I do want to say, I still believe that you just need to maybe find a better community of people around you. I think for some of you, maybe you just need to cut certain people out and surround yourself with better, more positive or like-minded individuals who will not tear you down. And then you'll see maybe your frame of mind and how you view yourself shift as well. So maybe you won't hate yourself as much, or you won't be so angry at yourself if you surround yourself with people who try to uplift you and tell you, hey, that was a good job you did, or hey, I see what you did there, and here's what you can do, and I'm just trying to help you with this advice if you allow me to provide this advice for you. And people will want to see you do well and to achieve success. So that's part of it too. I think surrounding yourself with people who actually, a lot of this is a solo journey, but it's also about surrounding yourself with better people in your life who will actually be supportive of you and will not want to push you over the ledge or purposely poke at you or make fun of you. I now would like to get into the guidebook. So let's start with koala. It says, koala, empathy, speak less and listen more. It seems that a lot of folks use lots of words, many more than are really needed. It's rather narrow to consider communication to always be about words. You can fill the air with words and sometimes even use them to cloud deeper sentiments and feelings. Talking so much can take away from the elegant pleasures inherent in stillness. As the old adage goes, or adage, be still and know I am. Talk less and you'll find immense opportunities to not only listen, but to really hear. Even though it might sound strange, you can even hear silence. Get to know others in a different way. Ask simple questions, then tune in, not only to the words they say, but more important to the subtle body language with which they express the words. You'll pick up nuances of feelings and meaning, some that even the speaker isn't aware of. Listen closely as you walk through the woods. You can hear the sound of your heartbeat and breathing, the songs of birds, and the whispery crunch as various critters make their way through the forest. Make it a point today to speak as few times as possible and only when absolutely necessary. Instead, use your ears, eyes, and physical senses as a conduit for a more profound connection with and understanding of the world around you. Additional associations are rest, detoxification, safety, and sensitivity. And I think that's a really beautiful card for you because I think it actually relates even more to how you are with yourself. So make sure if there's a lot of chatter going around in your brain or a lot of negative feelings that come up, be witness to those thoughts and feelings, but don't let them overtake you. And then make sure to redirect your thinking if you start thinking negative thoughts. A good thing to do is keep asking yourself the question why. So it's like if you start saying like, oh yeah, I look fat today. It's like, well, why do I think that? And then, you get to like, oh, it's because society thinks I look like this, whatever it is, right? Keep asking yourself the question why, but also don't do it too much. What this card is really saying too is to be silent and be still and allow the thoughts to pop up, but then have them go away. Don't keep beating yourself up and allowing yourself to be clouded in these negative thoughts. Now let's go to the other oracle deck. So I'm not going to read the Men in Black meaning. If you would like, you can read that on your own. It is on the screen. But for the card meaning in the upright, it means stalking, creepy, intimidation, confrontation, threats, spying, interfering, meddling, clumsy, intrusive, gossiping, petty-minded, and theft. And I think this can go both ways. Maybe you've adopted these habits because of any environments that you've found yourself in or the friend groups you've surrounded yourself with. But I think it also deals with other people also, where it's like, I think a lot of people have a lot to say about you or a lot to say to you, or you feel that people do, whether it's true or not. A lot of you will think that people will have something negative to say about you, whether it's to your face or behind your back or in their own brain. And I think, again, if you feel that there are people in your life, whether they're family, blood related, or friends, or work acquaintances, make sure you have better boundaries so that you don't allow these people to negatively influence you or have a negative impact on your thought process. That also means you should work on yourself not being like this as well. But make sure if there are people who are in your life who are trying to bring you down, that they are not good for you. I think a lot of people in your life could be preying upon your downfall, so I would really think about that, about who you surround yourself with. And also, don't be around people too much during this time. Really focus on your own inner healing. Focus on how you treat yourself as well, not just on how others treat you. But again, cut people out if they need to be cut out. That is it. Thank you so much, 2B, for watching and listening to this video. If you like the video, you can give the video a like. You can comment down below if you resonate with this stack, and you can comment down below again in the future if you took any of the advice that I stated in the video. You can subscribe to my channel if you'd like, and you can also check out any of the other content I have on my channel. There are plenty of other timeless pick a card reading videos. Thank you so much and take care. Hello Group 3C, and welcome to your part of the pick a card reading video. So the main message that your higher self has for you has to do with, sorry, I was distracted by my cat scratching over there, but the main message has to do with a lack of direction, and that literally is being shown in pretty much all of the cards, especially the Eight of Cups in reverse, the Two of Wands in reverse, the King of Wands in reverse, and the Queen of Wands in reverse. So, I mean, that's, yeah, a lot of the cards, but unfortunately, it's just true. I see a lot of lack of direction. I pulled these cards yesterday. Actually, this is the part of the video I had to film a different day, so the next day from the other parts of the video, the other part of the readings that I did for this video. And I can still see the imagery that I saw yesterday when I was pulling the cards for this stack, and I was getting the visualizations of somebody who's basically like foggy brained, but more so just doesn't really have any thought. This doesn't mean this is you, but I was getting the visuals of somebody who doesn't have any thoughts in their head, and there's a lot of darkness surrounding them, and they're just like in a cave and alone, and they had their knees like hunched up to their chest. They were hugging their knees to their chest, and there just was like nothing coming out of their mouth. So I think a lot of you have reached the end of your rope. A lot of you don't know what else to do with your life or where to go. And with lack of direction or lack of motivation too, I'm sensing from this, it can just feel like, okay, I've exhausted all my options, especially with the Eight of Cups in reverse. I want to talk about a lot of you maybe feel like you've exhausted all of your options and there's nothing else you can do. So now you're just kind of barely floating by, and you're living life kind of just maybe in a sort of dissociative state where you're just living, but you're not really. You're just, breathing, eating, doing the things, the basic necessities. Even though I wouldn't be surprised if some of you maybe aren't eating very well or sleeping very well, or if you're sleeping too much, stuff like that, where I just feel like you're doing the bare minimum to maybe survive right now, and you just don't feel motivated or you just feel like you've run out of options to move forward where you are in life. Also, with the Eight of Cups being in reverse, oftentimes, traditionally, it's associated with meanings of indecision, going back and forth on something. So for some of you, I do have to bring up, if you have been in a relationship and you're thinking of going back to it, that wouldn't be a good idea. I see it just continuing this cycle for you of like breaking up, being back together, breaking up, or maybe you're in the relationship and you're wanting to leave but you don't know how. Maybe it's a very abusive or toxic relationship. So for that, obviously, I would just recommend finding your own inner voice, finding help so that you can get out of that situation, because I don't see this doing anything except for causing you more issues, causing you more trauma. For some of you, too, that can even relate to family dynamics. Some of you, with the Two of Wands in reverse, I have to say, some of you maybe, like you've either, I'm trying to think, because I'm thinking of moving, but I'm trying to think of, for some of you, maybe it relates more to you wanting to move, but maybe with the Knight of Pentacles being reversed, you just don't feel you have the resources. I feel a lot of you feel stuck and don't know how to get out of your situation, and maybe you don't have the resources or the finances to get out, but you want to leave the situation you are in, and that can include like actual physical location, like a city, a town, or just a home. I also want to bring up with the Devil here, I think a lot of you could have addictive or obsessive compulsive tendencies, and for that, of course, I do recommend finding help if you are able to find it, even though it can be difficult if you don't have the resources or the money available to you, which for a lot of you that is being shown here. So that can be really difficult when you're going through those kinds of journeys of breaking those bad lifestyles or bad habits alone. Some of you, I think, right now, I've just been going through a period of really bad luck where it seems like no matter what you do, you always end up back where you were or even in a worse position. And I'm really sorry. I just have to tell you what I'm seeing through the cards. But it is, really unfortunate. And so I understand why a lot of you feel really stuck or feel like unmotivated or that you just can't do anything right now. Because it really does, I really do get the feeling of, okay, I've exhausted all of my options. There's nothing else I can do, unless if I win the lottery tomorrow, or if I just am transported to a different reality, a different country, whatever it is. And I do want to get to the oracle cards, but I feel like let me think if there's anything else I should add for the tarot cards. I do want to mention that it seems like what you're going through in your life right now is something that people in your life wouldn't be able to relate to. And it's also unfortunate because I don't get a sense that you would be able to really rely on anybody in your life. Right now, I feel that this is a time of really having to go through this more alone. Of course, if you do have resources that you have in your life that you can reach out to people, you can do those sorts of things, or you can go online, like Reddit. There's a lot of Reddit communities for different things. I just get a sense that this is really a solo journey you have to go on, and a journey of self-discovery, of really finding out how strong you are. I think that many of you will come out in however many days, months, years from now, you'll feel that you're really strong once you're able to conquer the battles and the demons in your life right now. Even though it's very hard to see that and to sense that, there's a sense that you will be able to, if you are able to get out on the other side, that you'll feel much stronger and more accomplished. And that doesn't diminish what you're feeling or going through right now. But there's a sense of feeling hopeful if you are able to conquer these battles and these demons right now. I don't get a sense that this will be a quick fix. I get a sense that this will be something that is a very long journey. So you just have to learn to be patient with yourself as you come up with solutions and as you figure out what it is you want to do next. So a lot of that includes baby steps. Think long term, but with that, think of baby steps. If you take too large of leaps, that will lead you right back to where you are right now, or again, even worse. So take really small steps, and then if you make mistakes or you're not making the progress that you want to make, you have to make sure that while you should hold yourself accountable, you should still also be patient with yourself, because if there's a cycle of shame, because I feel a lot of shame with this deck as well. If there's a cycle of shame, then you need to step back and evaluate how you can tackle that shame head on and not feel it moving forward. So what can you do to feel even those tiny accomplishments, which can turn into big accomplishments, basically. And I think for some of you, the sort of journey that you're on, again, there's just a sense of repeat. And so I wonder if you've been in this situation before, which is also why the addiction part for some of you really would make sense, or just any really bad habits. There's this sense that you keep falling back onto these bad habits, these bad rituals, these bad personality traits. You just keep falling back into them somehow. Or I wonder if when you get triggered or when things aren't going well in your life, you easily fall back onto these really bad habits, which a lot of people do that. But for you, I think it really, when this happens, takes a really bad turn. It takes a negative impact on your life, and it affects your life experiences in general. So there's just a sense that you easily fall back onto these things, even if you feel like, okay, I'm fully out of the woodworks, I don't have to deal with this situation anymore, or I'm no longer this type of person anymore, or I'm no longer having to associate with these kind of people anymore, or the solution has come, things are resolved. Even if all that happens, it seems like, again, things keep popping up that are similar or related to the prior experiences, or again, just like, I want to say a series of unfortunate events or a series of bad events keep popping up. And so with that too, sometimes that happens because that means you didn't fully close the chapter on the prior stuff. So make sure you have good boundaries. Let's say if this involves cutting people out of your life, make sure you have better boundaries in place so that moving forward, these people don't just keep popping back up, and that you don't, you can forgive people whether you choose to forgive people or not. You can forgive situations whether you choose to or not, but you still either way have to have boundaries in place for not allowing certain people back into your life or certain situations back into your life, if that makes sense. And I feel like those are the main messages I have. I don't have to go for as long as the other decks, I feel, because those are just the main messages I'm getting. But I will go into the guidebooks now. So the first card is Raven. I think I'll talk more actually after the oracle cards, but Raven, magic, own your power. Trying to keep yourself little by denying your power so you won't be a threat to anyone merely keeps you in a false bubble of safety. Of course, at least that way you won't get noticed much or stand out. Well, that trick has worn out its welcome. You're more powerful than you think you are, so it's time to stop pretending. Those psychic games you play, like finding convenient parking spaces or knowing when a certain someone is going to call, those are just parlor tricks, yet they're subtle testimonies to the gifts you have. There's no need to take on airs about your incredible talents. Let them serve you, but mainly let them be of service to others, whether human, animal, planet, or mineral. Use your abilities to demonstrate to others that there is this amazing power of spirit available that can move mountains, a force that can be accessed with the proper mix of faith, intention, and focus. So stop doubting, worrying, or making excuses, and own your capacity to be a powerful magician. Use these gifts to help make this a better world for all beings. Additional associations, shadow, insight, prophecy, shape-shifting. And I want to say, I really love this card. I love the Raven. It's one of my favorites of all the oracle cards. And with the shadow, too, I really want to bring up, some of you maybe don't even realize the cycle that you're in of bad habits, of these bad experiences. So I think doing shadow work, journaling, anything like hypnotherapy, just therapy in general, past life regression stuff, anything that digs up information from the past will help you understand your present and then help prevent any further negatively occurring situations from happening in the future, if that makes sense. So doing the work, no matter how difficult, will be important. And I think some of you don't realize how small you make yourself in comparison to other people. And you have to realize that you do have the ability to change, or you have the ability to make an impact. You have the ability to move on from something, to do something different. Some of you are afraid of trying new or different things, and that can keep you stuck as well. So the Raven is saying too, I think a lot of you have untapped potential, and so if you just do a little bit of soul searching and digging around, researching, I think you'll be able to find the type of things that really will help you feel motivated in life, things that will help you feel creative, feel happy, or feel inspired, feel relaxed. I just think you need to do more soul searching and researching. And that also includes with your community of people. I think with proper soul searching, that will help you be drawn to other types of hobbies or interests or studies, and then you will therefore be more involved in the community that you're meant to be involved with if you are not yet involved with that community. So let's go to 7 in the other guidebook. I will not be reading what the blue avian definition is. I will just be reading what the card meaning is. So in the upright, the blue avians, says inner work, philosophy, esoteric knowledge, releasing karma, mysticism, ascension, divine masculine, self-discovery, and that's literally what I was saying, scholar, intellect, study, education, diplomatic, and science. And I want to say too, I think I've mentioned this before, but if you have gone through, if you're like in a career that you don't like, even if you went to school for it, then your higher self is saying you have the ability, and also the Raven is saying you have the power to choose a different path for yourself, whether you go back to college or just do something different completely without even going back to college or whatever it is. A spirit and your higher self are saying that you're able to do all of these things, and that you shouldn't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone or to try something different. It is not the end of the world. For that as an example, going to college and getting a degree does not mean you have to do that specific job and work at that specific company forever and ever and ever. You have the power. You just have to find the willpower now to be able to move on to something else. Like, that's just an example. Hopefully, for those of you who chose this card, even if that specific situation doesn't resonate, you'll know what I'm saying and how that will apply for your life. And I really want to talk about that releasing karma, because what I was talking about with, it seems like things are going in circles and cycling around, recycling and cycling and recycling and cycling. This is a really good time to finally now put it to rest so that the karma doesn't keep popping up in your life. So again, I can bring up one of those situations I was talking about earlier. Like, there could be a person in your life, maybe you're even related in terms of past life, right? Whether you did wrongdoing in the past life or the other person did. And let's say you're just drawn to this person, you are romantically linked in some capacity in this lifetime, and you keep popping up in their life, or they keep popping up in your life, or vice versa, or both, or whatever. That would be a good time then now to, again, have those boundaries that I keep talking about and put it to rest so that the karma doesn't keep cycling through. Because even if it's not just with this person, it could be multiple people who are similar to one past romantic partner, that you keep cycling through people who are a specific way, who drain you, who aren't providing positive energy in your life, who maybe you have to mother these people or father these people. You have to basically be their caretaker all the time, and they can't be their own person. Or maybe that's how other people are for you, and there could very clearly be codependency issues. So then for that example, you have to have boundaries for yourself for identifying those types of partners, like the qualities in potential partners, and choosing not to be with those kinds of people, even if it feels safe for you, because that's what you've been used to and that's what you've known. Maybe that's because that's also what was modeled to you in childhood. Again, it could involve past life stuff. With karma, it can involve present life, but you also have to think about past life. So that's why I really, if you are open to it, recommend past life regression. You can also do it at home, but I recommend, like, through YouTube videos. Even I have a past life regression video that you can guide yourself through. It's only half an hour long, and that's on my channel here. But I recommend for your first time doing it with a professional who's able to help guide you and make you feel safe. But you can't be, like, stuck in a past life if that's what anybody thinks. But in helping to cut those cords as well, some of you really need to look up cord cutting exercises. I feel like that would be very helpful for you to release karma, present and past. So that is where I will leave it. Thank you so much, 3C, for watching and listening to this video. I'm sorry that it was a little bit heavy, and I hope that you're able to find the healing that you need to progress forward in your life. If you want, you can like the video down below. You can comment down below if you resonated with this stack, and you can comment again in the future if you took any of my advice from this stack that I gave you. You can subscribe to my channel if you like. I have plenty of other pick a card reading videos on my channel that you can also check out. I also have my Brittney's ASMR YouTube channel that you can check out as well, and that will be linked down below. But thank you so much and take care. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. If you liked the content, Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below, as it really helps my channel out a lot. You can follow me on my socials listed here on the screen. Thank you, and blessed be.